I want to start this video by saying that these opinions are my own, and you are more than welcome to disagree with me. Now, with that being said, I believe Pokémon as a series peaked right here. For most of my life, my name was synonymous with Pokémon. I played the games, I watched the anime, I played the card game incorrectly, and my parents, not being big fans of illegal dogfighting and violence, didn't let me play Pokémon until a little bit later, so Black and White was my first entry into the series, and I did and still love everything about it. The music, the battles, the Pokémon, I like him. This really made it feel like a larger-than-life adventure. With this team of strange creatures I cobbled together, we could take on anything. My first one being a Snivy that I named Mario in all caps, and I actually still have him to this day. However, now that I'm older, I can appreciate what these games did for the series. They took risks. My favorite one being that until you beat the game, you're forced to use only the new Pokémon. This forces you to adapt and create a team entirely unique to this region, letting you make new favorites along the way. In my shoes, this was my first set of Pokémon, so I got to the post-game only to find out there were like 500 more of these things. Which of course allowed it to stay fresh even after the credits rolled. And it also got me to accuse my friend of hacking when he pulled out frickin' this Sky Dragon to decimate my team. Pair that with fantastic gameplay and a surprisingly deep story for Pokémon, and you've got yourself a masterclass of the RPG genre. Then they did it again. Now this is a sequel. While previous generations included a large amount of quality of life features in a re-released form, Unova took another risk with direct sequels. And it's really fun to see the time jump from the first game to the second, and seeing all the character changes is honestly amazing. My favorite one being the split of Team Plasma and seeing the side that wants to make up for their misdoings from the first game, and, you know, the ones that wanted to become real terrorists. However, something that I feel makes these games fresh is the fact that you're able to use nearly all the Pokémon before you beat the game this time. You can catch a Riolu in the first 10 minutes and absolutely decimate the first gym leader, who just so happens to be your rival from the first game. This does mean, sure, you could make your totally original Sinnoh Dream Team, but why not put in some of the favorites you made from your first time around in Unova? This model showed that not only could you renew the experience that kept people coming back, but continue it in a way that feels satisfying. However, recently, Pokemon has been more inconsistent than my upload schedule, like making the jump to 3D and introducing Mega Evolution, and also seriously messing up the timeline. Then they went to Hawaii, heard someone say Aloha. Okay, let's swap that. Okay, yeah, we're good. Good to sell. Then they used Sword and Shield to both slice the number of Pokemon in half, as well as defend themselves from the onslaught of National Dex riders. Then the new one, where they created a fantastic brand new idea that would severely change the flow of battles, and they landed on Ring Pops. Pokemon Company is like an Italian chef who keeps trying to throw pasta noodles at the wall, except they forgot to turn on the dang burner so the noodles can't stick. Even though there's a perfectly good plate of spaghetti sitting right there, so they know how to do it, they know, they're just not doing it, and that's not even mentioning all these half-cooked side dishes over here, and all of these things have one problem, and that's time. The average wait time between mainline Pokemon games is about 3 years, and that's not counting all the stuff in between like remakes, spin-offs, and now DLC. These games are coming out faster than Rule 34 of new characters, and no, I'm not giving you an example. This time constraint means they simply don't have enough development time, and I believe it's because this was enough development time when they were making games for this thing. However, this time crunch system makes it near impossible to have a game on modern consoles that doesn't look like it escaped from the GameCube. Seriously, Poké Park looks better than the most recent game, and that game has Just Dance in it. The most confusing part about this is that Nintendo is actually setting a great example, and a recent one is Tears of the Kingdom, which had a near 6 years in development, and a year of which was playtesting. And it paid off, as this game is one of the most deep and honestly near perfect video game experiences I've had in such a long time. And trust me, Pokemon isn't afraid to take a page from Nintendo's book either, they just don't put in the time that's needed for those ideas to be fully realized. So the question stands, why don't they? Well, it's because they sell. The Unova games sold very well altogether, selling close to 24 million copies. And that statistic stays somewhat consistent even now, with Scarlet and Violet selling about 23 million copies. In the eyes of the higher-ups, what does the quality matter if people are still going to buy it?
The Blue Whooper's neat too, so make sure you give it lots of attention. I won't. Oh.
Obviously, this is an insane generalization. However, it is enough for me, so I think this is where I hang up my hat with mainline Pokemon games, at least for the time being. The release it now, fix it later model that's plaguing the industry right now is just something I can't get behind. However, I didn't want to end this video on a negative note, so here are some games that could scratch that itch. Persona 5, or really any of the games in the franchise, specifically these three. It's a Cowboy 1 video, you knew this was coming. The One More and Persona Fusion system really make this game feel unique. And at some points it honestly feels like you're trying to craft the ultimate super Pokemon, just in the most brutal ways possible. The slice of life sides of the game are honestly delightful and heartwarming, if not a little bit cheesy at times, even if they encourage you to date your teacher for the in-game perks. Seriously, why did they give her that? That's just too good. Also, it should go without mentioning that this game's style is unmatched, and it gives plenty of Persona vibes. And with the remake of Persona 3 looking like this, yeah, go play these games. Fire Emblem Awakening. Coming from Smash and being a person that really doesn't like getting hit by stuff like this, or that, I never really gave this franchise a chance until recently. It's a different style of RPG, honestly feeling a lot closer to chess in a lot of cases. This game is also on permadeath mode by default, meaning it's like a Nuzlocke, meaning once they die, they're dead. Only difference is you can't catch another Chrom somewhere later, and no, that doesn't count. It puts you in these difficult situations where you have to decide whether to continue the battle in honor of one of your fallen teammates, or angrily mash the reset button until you get it right. I enjoyed this game and the next game in the series, Fire Emblem Fates, a lot more than I honestly expected to. Even if you are allowed to date Chrom's daughter for the in-game perks. Oh, why does this keep happening? I encourage you to try some of these games, despite what some may say about them or the franchises they're a part of. Oh, and I spent so long making this video that people actually released a game that solves a lot of the problems I was talking about in the video. It's called Powerworld. It's a weird hybrid cross between Ark Survival Evolved and Pokémon, but it definitely understands the flow and appeal that makes these games so fun, even if it is a little bit gruesome at times. But the sales numbers don't lie, because this game is absolutely popping off and I think it deserves all the attention it's getting. I just couldn't end the video without mentioning it. At the end of the day, these games are great alternatives if you're like me and didn't find the new mainline Pokemon games to be all that fun, or at least as fun as they used to be. And if you did, more power to you. I'd love to hear why in the comments below. Either way, you made it this far, and I appreciate you for that. And if you want to stay up to date with me and other future videos I may or may not be working on, you can check out my Twitch and Instagram. Links for both are in the description. So, I'll catch you later.